Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Profitability Power Hour. I'm Wendy Y. Bailey, your host for this live stream devoted to sharing profitability strategies to help your bottom line grow. We're here every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, and we're on episode, I think this is episode 17. So if you want to catch the replay, you can go to youtube.com/ Wendy Y. Bailey. That's my YouTube channel, and catch all of the replays. I've been talking about profitability strategies every single week. So every week I come and I share, we're here about 20 minutes, and I share a strategy that's designed to help you create a bigger, better, bolder bottom line. I love sharing these profitability strategies because they're so simple. They're so simple. And I try to give you enough of a strategy enough about the strategy that you can actually walk away and start to do some things differently in your business to help it to grow. So remember that you are watching this live, but if you're watching the replay, be sure to share the video, like the video, and also in the comments, use the hashtag replay to let me know you watched the replay. Share the video, share the video, share the video is what I like to say. Be sure that you are sharing the video. If you want to get notified when we go live, you can also you can text Profit Now to 38470. That's Profit Now to 38470 if you want to be notified via text when we go live. Yeah, I have a lot of fun sharing this information, and it's not intended to be self-serving. It's totally about you getting information, support, strategy to help grow your bottom line profits. So today's topic is all about scripting your selling. It's a phrase that I love. I actually have the domain scriptyourselling.com. And it's because sales scripting is so powerful. It's not about having rigid scripts. It's really about preparing you for the sales conversation. Because when you know what to say and when to say certain things in the sales conversation, conversion is really something that happens naturally. You can overcome objections when you have prepared language so that you know how to address those objections in the sales conversation. You can also consider the possibilities of a different kinds of offers when you have scripts that are related to your selling conversation, your selling process. So today isn't about giving you rigid scripts, and I don't encourage that because I want you to always feel like you're being authentic in what you say in that sales conversation. So everything we're talking about today is about preparing you with the right language. Okay, so the strategy is really about helping you with that language. So there's some things that you want to be sure that you understand as we go through this strategy. Let's kind of jump in. I've got 5 points for you. Remember that your scripts are for your sales conversation. You never know when you're going to be engaged in a sales conversation, but sometimes you know exactly when you're going to be in a sales conversation. And when you know when you're going to be in a sales conversation, then having the right language, having the right words, knowing when to say certain things is really going to lead to conversion. I don't use the word close the sale, that phrase close the sale often, but I want to be sure you understand when I talk about conversion, I'm talking about closing the sale. That means enrolling someone into your coaching service. That means uh, finalizing a deal, if you will, for a speaking gig. Those are sales conversations, okay, that you're sure of. But sometimes you can be at a networking event and the ideal client for your program, services, and products shows up in a dialogue, in a conversation. That, quite honestly, can be a sales conversation because The sales conversation is about having your ideal client with whom you're speaking get to know, like, trust, and experience you. It's really giving them a nugget, a taste, a sample of what it's like to work with you. It's a sales conversation because everything you say is about building your credibility. Everything you do and how you engage the client is about building that trust. It's about helping that client. I always tell my clients that if you're in a sample coaching session, a strategy session, a breakthrough session, whatever you call that initial consultation, and you've spent more than 45 minutes to an hour, that means you have basically given them way too much content. You've got to give your most ideal clients a sampling of you without giving the whole hog. You're not going to be able to solve the client's problem in 45 minutes to an hour. So if you're going longer than that, you've shared too much content and your time is not successfully used in the sales conversation. So I hope I gave you some insight around the sales conversation. Remember, any conversation can be a sales conversation because selling is about building credibility and trust. It's about giving an experience of what it's like to work with you. It's really about growing your authenticity, your being genuine as you grow your sales connection with the client. Okay. The other thing about scripting your selling, it needs to have intention and it needs to be purposeful. Remember, I said just a second ago, if you're talking to your client in that initial session and you're talking for more than 45 minutes, you're more than an hour into the session, you've given away way too much content. That's why your breakthrough session, your strategy session, your initial sample coaching session, your initial consultation, whatever you call it, has to have an intention and a purpose. And think of intention as this way: how do I want to show up in this conversation? How do I want to show up in this strategy session? What is it that I want to do as my come from in this session to serve this potential client? So your intention has to be clear for you. Is it really just about helping the client and giving them a little nugget? Is it about sort of understanding where the client is and understanding and growing more confident about what you know about the client? So go into it understanding your intention for the conversation, for the sales conversation, and then you can script it with purpose. Then you can script it with intention. If you know that the client is someone that you want to enroll into one of your programs, then your script looks a certain way. And don't script without flexibility. You've got to be flexible in a way that says, I'm going to follow wherever the client needs me to go with a clear understanding of the intention and purpose I have for the call. It's sort of a double-edged sword, if you will, of to walk that balance between intention and purpose, and then following the client and giving the client what you need. But it's a skillful balance that you're actually striking that is allows you to serve the client. It allows you to listen and be present and be flexible in your scripts. The next thing about scripts is it's about setting expectations. There's a phrase that I use a lot called expectant faith in action. It means that everything you do it knowing something amazing is about to happen. Well, when I talk about expectations as it relates to scripting your selling, you've got to walk into your strategy session, your initial consultation, excuse me, whatever that conversation is with your ideal client, with the expectation that when you extend the offer, when you invite the client to enroll in working with you, that the client is going to say yes, right? And knowing that that is your expectation really changes the energy of how you show up in that session. The other thing in terms of expectations is when you understand that sometimes making decisions to invest in coaching or to invest in speaking or to invest in your programs and services can be scary for your client. So understanding and preparing for the expectation of those fears means that you're also scripting very authentically, very with built-in flexibility, what you'll say and how you'll respond to expectations, to objections, to objections. That means you're setting your expectations so that something wonderful is going to happen, the client's going to hire you. And if for whatever fears surface in their objections, you're prepared to deal with those objections. You have a script. You know what you're going to say. You understand what's happening with the client, and you can actually script based on that. In a session, whatever you're doing, it's always about focusing on value. People buy value. People don't buy widgets. They don't want to know. Let me change what I'm about to say. It's not that they don't want to know how many sessions they're going to get or how much time they're going to get. It's not that. They want to know that when they come to you, whatever it is they've expressed as an issue that they're experiencing, you're going to help them solve that. You're going to be the answer to their problem. You hear it a lot of different ways in the marketplace, but value is about giving them an experience of that solution. That's why I say it 45 minutes to an hour. If you're still talking, you've given them too much content. You've almost solved the problem. And your job in that session is not to solve the problem. Your job in that session is to hear what the problem is, offer a potential solution to it, collaborate with the client to ensure that is the right solution that's going to make the difference, and showcase the value. Focus on the value of your solution and what it really means for the client when you're talking about whatever their problem is, when you're walking them through the invitation and the enrollment process, when you are dealing with the objections. It's all about value, because objections fall into 5 categories. This is not in my notes, but I share it all the time, so I'll share it with you. And it's something that I learned from Zig Ziglar. Okay. He said there are 5 reasons why somebody does not buy. And he's right. It falls into some very distinct categories. The first is they don't have the time. The second is they don't have the money. Let me say it's rarely about the money. If they're in survival mode, it is about the money. But if they're not in survival mode, it's about priority. Okay. Um, Time, money. What is the third one? Disbelief in your programs and services and the ability to solve the problem, and disbelief in you, and disbelief in the value of your program. I think those are the 5: time, money, disbelief in the value, disbelief in your solution, disbelief in you. Okay. Those are the 5 very overarching objections. So when you focus on value, you can focus on value that speaks to time. Well, this is going to save you time. If it's about money and they're not in survival mode, and survival mode means that they're struggling and in dire straits trying to keep a roof over their heads. That's survival. But if they're not there, it's about priority. And priority you address in terms of money with value. So because I'm a sales coach, for example, I'm always in conversation with my clients about what they're going to do and how much money they will make as a result of working with me. Okay. Value, value in terms of priority for the money. Disbelief in your program, disbelief in your program's ability to solve the problem, and disbelief in you. How you show up as confident in your sales conversation is really what makes the difference for the client. How you show up. If you show up confident, if you show up ready to serve in a way that demonstrates your expertise, that's value. That's totally value. So you've got to script some of that so you know it, so you have it already prepared, and it gives you the freedom to be yourself, knowing that you're prepared for the conversation. The language is there to support you. So I've talked about the sales conversation and when they are and how they work. I've talked about scripting with intention and purpose. I've talked about scripting with expectations. And I've also talked about scripting that focuses on value. As I said before, everything you're doing in the way of scripting your selling is about preparation. You're preparing yourself, you're equipping yourself, you're tooling yourself with the right language to have a successful sales conversation, not just for you in terms of closing the sale, converting the client, getting the enrollment, getting the sale. It's also about preparation for the client because you've got to prepare them to walk through whatever those next steps are too. That's part of your scripting as well. You've got to be able to say, okay, now that you've decided we are going to work together, let me tell you what's next. So it's a preparation not just for you in your scripting and preparing the language, it's also holding the client in a space that continues to support them in understanding how you're going to support them going forward. I have conversations all the time with people not thinking that they're necessarily clients, but at the end of the conversation, because of how we've had that conversation, because I've held the space for them, because I have prepared myself for the conversation, I've shown up in a way of expertise and confidence that they hire me, and I prepare them by saying, here's what's next. Here's what you can expect. When we're finished, this is what you'll know. We're going to work on this. We're going to do these three things. Okay. But it's your job to do that, and you've got to script it. Remember, scripting is about preparing you to express and use the right language for the client that supports the client in a big way. Remember, if you're just joining me, hit like or, in the comments, hashtag replay and share the video, share the video, share the video. I've been giving you a glimpse into one of my master classes. Script your selling for surefire sales success. Script your selling for surefire sales success. Now, it says, my notes say, join my master class. It's a pre-recorded master class that you'll be able to watch once you sign up for it. Script your selling for surefire sales success is where I actually talk a little bit more about what your scripts need to include and why they're important beyond what I've talked about in this Profitability Power Hour. Okay. Go to scriptyourselling.com. It's a free masterclass, no cost. You can go and get a lot of value from that. And I encourage you to do that. And I think that it'll help you and it'll support you along the way. You've been watching the Profitability Power Hour. Remember, you can catch the replays at YouTube. Catch the replay at youtube.com/Wendy Y. Bailey. That's my YouTube channel. And you can watch all 17 episodes, including this one, if you just joined and you've missed part of it. We're here every week for the Profitability Power Hour, every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Remember that you can actually go to scriptyourselling.com and grab the masterclass. You can see the masterclass and watch it. It's a pre-recorded and you can watch it. It's really good stuff. I believe in sharing really good content, and this is one more way that I share really great content with you. I'm always excited that I get to serve entrepreneurial leaders and CEOs of really, doing well businesses, 6 and 7 figure businesses. I get to show other transformation experts like coaches and speakers and trainers, consultants, and emerging thought leaders how to sell with great success, with grace and ease, with confidence. Go to scriptyourselling.com and you can watch the masterclass. And I'll see you next week for another episode of the Profitability Power Hour. Thanks so much for being here, and I will see you next week. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.